Hey folks, Christine Bergman from the DePaul School again. Let's continue talking a little more about managing behavior issues at home. The biggest challenge for a lot of families is managing temper tantrums or emotional outbursts or meltdowns, as some people call them. So it helps to be able to have a plan and approach that addresses both the child's emotions as well as their behavior. If we lean too far one way or another, it tends to be ineffective. We want to be able to address the emotions and give some support, but we also want to correct inappropriate behavior or maybe even inappropriate ways of expressing their feelings. So to start with, I always recommend that we try to separate how we're going to intervene in a tantrum or an emotional upset into two steps. Too often, adults try to quickly tell the child what the solution is. And you've probably had this happen, is that if you try to give advice too soon, it tends to backfire. If you're trying to help the child see the solution and they're still too emotionally distraught, it probably doesn't work, and at worst it could just escalate the situation. So it's really great to first de-escalate and then problem solve, which can include behavioral issues. So what I mean by that is that first you want to kind of just calm everything down, just slow it down, let the stimulus in this situation just settle down. Lower voices, slower talking, less people around, more privacy, more calm, and you be calm. This is again where it depends on the parent's ability to get themselves calm. Taking those breaths, slowing it down. Being present is very important to help kids de-escalate in most situations. There's exceptions, but most of the time kids need you to be present, but quieter and calmer. And then you want to communicate that this is a time that we're just going to calm down. We're not talking about that problem. We're not talking about the upset. We're just going to get quieter. We're just going to settle down. So that's what you might want to do, is just repeat that. Let's just take a break. We'll settle that in a little while. Let's just regroup. Why don't you take a moment to help yourself stop crying? Why don't you take a few minutes to just calm down? Whatever it is, we're going to be able to take care of it, but first we're going to calm down. Which is very smart, as we know that when somebody's calm, the problem solving tends to go quicker. When someone's not calm, then it's sometimes worse. So first calming. So when you think your child is calmer, then you want to kind of test it out a little bit. Ask a little request and see if they can comply. Like you might say, would you like a sip of water? Or how about you hand me that? Or you want to put the tissue in the pail. If your child is able to interact and be cooperative, they're probably de-escalated enough that then you can go to the next step. If they're not and they're still being difficult or oppositional, then you want to just take a little bit more time to de-escalate. Once they're able to calm and cooperate in those small ways, then you can go to the problem solving, which would be your normal discussion of, so you know that this was a rule, and even though you were really upset, there was a part of that behavior that wasn't okay. So what do you think you could have done better? So you want to problem solve for the next time. Sometimes there's consequences that have to happen if something was really serious. It might be as simple as apology has to happen, or you have to clean up that mess that you just made. Or we have a rule in our house that things can't get broken on purpose, so now this is the consequence, like it always is. Yeah, there might be a risk of some escalation again, but if you've done your steps and you've taken enough time to calm the child down and get them regrouped again, those chances of them re-escalating are usually a little bit lower. So I hope that's helpful in working with temper outbursts and emotional outbursts. Sometimes children really are struggling with their own anxiety, and they need our presence to calm and to model that and help them regulate, because emotional regulation is a developmental process that some kids get quicker than others and can always use some support in. So I hope that's helpful, folks. Best of luck.